Hi there, thanks for joining me for another tutorial in Melinda's Rubber Room. I'm Melinda Pierce and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here today to show you how to make this card. I'm going to point you right down to my work surface and get right to it. So this is a card that I showed during my September stamp camp, and I do provide the materials to make those cards in the mail. So if you're interested in participating in the October stamp camp in the mail, you can see those cards on my my Facebook page at Melinda's Rubber Room. But for now, I'm going to do the background for this card. So what I'm doing is taking a little bit of washi tape, and I'm going to go ahead and tape my mask directly onto my card stock. And that's going to provide, to make sure that the mask and the paper do not slide while I am blending the ink onto the card. So don't worry about those corners. I'll go back and fix those with the sponging after I'm done, after I'm sure that everything else is done. Okay, so I'm taking Highland Heather and one of our blending brushes, and I'm just putting pressure on the top of that brush, just tapping it on there, and I'm going to start bringing the ink down onto that piece of cardstock. Now I am holding the mask just to make sure it doesn't slip. If it does slip, you're going to get a blurry image on your mask. It's not going to come out very crisp. So you want to make sure you hold those edges down, even though I have that tape on there. And it may not look like I'm putting much color on there, but believe me, it is there. And I'm going to put a little bit extra on the top because I do want it to look like it's darker on the top than it is down on the bottom. You can get so many fun different looks with these masks. And I've had so many people say that it looks like it's a die cut that's on top of the card and not a mask, but this is a lot easier to do than die cutting a trellis image out and then trying to glue it all down. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up. You can see the tape covered up where I want my ink to be. So I'm going to go back and just hit ink on that little corner. Same with up here. Making sure that my mask doesn't slip. I'll go over on this side. Get that corner. One last corner. And it's the big reveal. Just love lifting up the mask and seeing the image below. Okay, here we go. There is that reveal. Okay, so that is the inked image, and I do provide that in my card kit in the mail. And I'm just going to adhere those pieces together. So my card kit's in the mail. I cannot provide the stamped images according to Stampin' Up's policy, but I can provide everything else. So I can provide the backgrounds, I can provide the embossed pieces, die cut images. And so since I can't provide the stamped images, I usually provide an alternative to the stamped image. So for this one, I would provide a large piece of a fussy cut image from some designer series paper. Okay, so now I have my image for the front. I'm going to show you how I colored that. I used the watercolor pencils, and I used the blender pens. So these have been around for ages, and there's a good reason that they have stuck around, and that is because they are simply wonderful. So I have stamped this image on the shimmer white cardstock. It just seems to accept any kind of watercoloring better than the regular basic white cardstock. And all I'm doing is laying some color on, mainly concentrating on these highlight areas that Stampin' Up! Provides on the stamp itself. And then I'm going to take my blender brush, make sure that there's no extra color on there, and simply go around in a circle to spread that color, and you can see how nicely that spreads. As long as you don't push too hard on that paper, it's not going to pill up on you like it does on the Whisper White or the basic white cardstock. You do get 3 of these pens per pack on the online store. You can purchase them at melindapierce.stampinup.net. And it does come with 2 tips, so you can simply brush the tip off and use that for another color, or you can have separate tips for each color depending on what you want to do. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is lay that image down, use some dimensionals to raise it up. Got a few more little dimensionals here. And I'm just going to lay that down like so. And then I have a greeting down here. So I did not stamp the greeting on my card kit in the mail, but I did do the die cut for you, so you can stamp your own greeting. Use that card for whatever purpose you might want. I'm just cutting up my dimensional since I ran out of the small ones. I'm just cutting up the edges. Make sure you don't throw those away. There's always uses for those. Put that right down on the bottom like so. And then on the inside, I have a stamped image. I'm just going to adhere that to the inside of my card. I've already colored that in, so I wouldn't have to take up more of your time, but I use the same technique on that, stamping the image and using the watercolor pencils and the blender brush, the blender pen. All right, and there is that completed card. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Those masks really are a fun technique to use. Don't miss out on those in the online store at melindapierce.stampinup.net. Feel free to leave questions, comments on my YouTube videos or on my Facebook page at Melinda's Rubber Room on Facebook, and I would be happy to answer any questions you might have. All right, have a great day, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.